know some young people that have had like little breaks and have had like little crises and stuff that they
like little crazy shit.
Yeah.
It happens.
Yeah. No, it does. Especially I guess especially when you live like an unhealthy lifestyle, like when you live fast and you feel old, like when you're still young but you've lived like a hard life.
Well, no, a lot of times the midlife crisis be hitting people when they feel like they ain't did shit.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah, when they feel like they missed out on a lot of shit, and so then they just start doing dumbass shit like a kid again.
Yeah, they try to relive their childhood, or they try to do what makes them feel young.
Yeah, you know anybody like that?
Yeah, I do. I have a friend who has a dad, perfect example. Dude's in his 50s and worked at a pizza place with a bunch of young kids for a while. Like his whole life he's had he's had adult jobs his whole life. He's worked at like factories and
you know what? You sound like my pops when I was working at some of them bullshit jobs. That's not a real job.
Hey,
but
man.
keep going,
Hey,
man. That's funny though, because my dad, I used to think I was like working at a job. That's not no real damn job.
Yeah, it's not a man job.
Yeah, it's not a man job.
Yeah. No, but what I mean by that is he's had jobs where he's had like insurance benefits and he's been able to take care of his kids and stuff like that. He just started working at Domino's because he fell on hard times. Him and his wife got separated. They had like a divorce, and his kids are grown, so it doesn't really
a big deal.
Yeah, it doesn't affect him like that. But after his divorce, he started putting himself back out there. He started hitting up because they split up because he's kind of had his little midlife crisis before they split up, and he started talking to some girls that he went to high school with on Facebook.
That's the problem with Facebook, man.
And he said back in my day, I really thought that he was like, I haven't seen these people in over like 20 years, and I thought I was never gonna see them again. Yeah. And he said Facebook comes out, and he straight up told me like this, like we were drinking some whiskey one night, and he straight up told me, he was like, Facebook's fair game. He's like, I can message whoever.
The crazy part, like me and my buddy a few years back, when we used to work together and stuff, man, we had conversations like a motherfucker about stuff like this. And we was like, man, Facebook finna fuck the game up. Because what happens is people that you're not supposed to see anymore, you can contact them on this platform.
And you probably shouldn't.
And you should not, you really shouldn't be contacting them, because honestly, what we talked about, we was thinking like, you know what? That's probably why so many marriages don't work these days and shit like that, because now people have access to contact old love interests and sweethearts and stuff like that, and people be having these fucked up marriages and stuff, and so they go to Facebook to try to see if an old fling was still on there, and they meet up and they start having. That's how a lot of these situations happen.
Yep.
Because it was some chick that you went to high school that you never got to touch up on and stuff like that.
Yeah, you still think about her in your dreams.
Of course, and so you already in this place where you feel like you haven't done anything, so now you want to get back and try to be the wild boy that you wanted to be back then.
Yeah.
And man, like me, I haven't been through a midlife crisis or anything like that. I'm more with a clear mind about where I want to be and where I want to go. That's probably why I'm like the person I am now. I don't have a lot of friends. I don't have a lot of people I hang with. Because I just don't trust a lot of people, because I've been burned so much in my life, and so I just choose to kind of stick to myself and do me. And sometimes it could be depressing that you don't have a lot of people around, because you're so used to having everybody around you and talking to you and speaking with you, but you get used to it. Yeah. Be by yourself a little bit. But that's funny, because like me and my buddy, we talked about that. Like Facebook is a problem.
It is.
Instagram and all of it is.
Yeah, no, he messed his marriage up over it. And then imagine if you lived in a time where something like that didn't exist, and then all of a sudden in your older years, it exists, and all these people that you haven't seen in years start just popping up. Mm-hmm. And your day, things were a lot more social. Like people did talk to each other more. Nowadays, people are a little more reserved and they stick more to themselves. Like with my generation, we're not as social as like the older generation was. The older generation would just like pop up on you or call you or shit like that. We don't really like do that.
Well, with the older generation, but you had to still be my friend for me to do it.
Yeah.
When Facebook came around and just all these like internet sites that you can meet people, it made it where you stayed in contact with people that you probably would have never seen ever again outside of high school. Because if it wasn't for some of these platforms, I know for a fact there's a lot of the people I wouldn't have seen again.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a fact because we didn't run in the same circles. We wasn't at the same places. We didn't go to the same place.
Yeah.
So I would have never seen them.
Yeah. Yeah. And if you didn't have mutual friends, then you would have.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's only very few people who even have my phone number, but people can call you straight from Facebook.
They can.
Act like they got your number and stuff, you know? And so it's crazy, man. Like that opened up a window for people to just be cheaters.
Yeah, it did. And the dude basically, because I remember him when I was a kid, like he basically like he went from his old like redneck drinking whiskey and listening to country music ways to now in his 50s he wants to like hang out with some young kids, go out to the bar with them, listen to Cardi B, Nicki Minaj, like this dude and then he listens to like he listens to soft shit, to be honest. Like he listens to the shit that's not really like that hard. Like he listens to the
Well, I'm not gonna lie. The older I got, the more I don't want to listen to rap.
The more you don't?
I don't.
Yeah.
I like listening to R&B and stuff. I like to hear some love songs and shit like that. And somebody talking about loving a woman and everything like that, I can listen to that. Or I listen to some old blues or some jazz or something like that. That more relaxes me. I can't take all that hippity hop yelling in my ear. Hop.
Yeah, all man. That hippity hop.
And and yelling and stuff in my ear. Like, cut that shit off. Like my cousin, he's a little bit younger than me, and so sometimes we'll be in the car and we'll listen to some music. And don't get me wrong, I still listen to a few things that, you know, a rap and stuff, but you gotta be able to do it. You can't be some rapper that just living off of the beat. You know, you have to actually have some lyrics for me to really deal with you. So we'll listen to some of it, and then some shit he put on, I'll be like, man, cut that shit off. That is garbage. Like, that is garbage. He's not saying anything. He's just wasting my fucking energy and my time, and it's making my head hurt. You know what I mean? That's just how it is at this point. But you know, I'm like I say, the older you get, I think that you get out of a lot of that.
Yeah, unless you tend to have like a crisis or whatever, because it seems like he might have had the opposite. He might have listened to like so much country that he might want something else. Like that country may just not hit that place for him anymore.
Well, you know, country always like sad and shit. Like, it's always on, I lost my dog, or my girl left me, she cheated on me, or something like that.
Yeah, I'm at the bar alone.
Drinking and shit. Yeah. But I got a couple country songs I fuck with.
Yeah.
I got a couple.
Yeah, that one you showed me was pretty good. That E.
Yeah. You better get out this house because I'm about to put it on you, baby. That dude funny. I like him, man. Matt Mason. I heard about Matt Mason about I was working at the World Trade Center at the time. And I was working in one of those stores. And like this girl had it on, and I was like, "Who is this guy, man?" And he actually jammed. And she was like, "Oh yeah, that's Matt Mason. He was a new artist at the time." And I was like, "Man, I'm finna go get him, man."
Yeah.
He jammed. I just liked his style.
Yeah.
You know, like how we talked about, you know, country and rap kind of like go hand in hand, and how the melodies go, and
they do.
It really kind of does, man. Like I say, that dude, he jams.
Yeah.
He jams.
Yeah, and that may be another reason why this dude is into like Cardi B and shit now, is because it
matches.
Yeah, it has a similar pattern to the way that country's structured.
Yeah,
and it really does. Like the way that country artists they don't really like sing. They kind of like they do like a rhythmic or like melody or like a harmony kind of. Like they
just
do
like we'll rap. They don't really sing.
Yeah, they just
harmonize.
Yep, they're flowing, but they're doing it in key. As long as you're in key.
Well, they may be on auto-tune.
Oh yeah, we will correct the key if your pitch is off. We'll
they may be on auto-tune, but
yeah, honestly, everybody's on auto-tune. Even like the old school, like Pimp C and all those dudes, all that was auto-tuned. It's just if you listen to Pimp C and you listen to like the old UGK stuff and you listen to it very closely, whenever he does his and all that bitch and all
but
that.
He sound like that though.
But no, he does. But if you listen the only way I didn't catch it until I started working with auto-tune myself. Yeah. But if you listen to it, you can turn that response time all the way up and it'll put you in key, but it doesn't sound robotic. It doesn't sound like T-Pain. But if you listen to when the notes drag out a little bit, if you listen to that drag, it almost sounds like electronic. And if you listen very carefully, like if you've worked with pitch correction, you can hear it.
So I never worked with it, so he just sound like old Pimp to me.
Yeah. And he will, and that's on it. And vocal chains are huge when it comes to an artist's signature sound and their style. The vocal chains that they make for themselves, or the producers or the engineers make, those vocal chains make you as an artist. Like nobody just puts their raw voice on a track. It's all delay, reverb, pitch correction, multi-pressors.
Well, that's why they sound so much different when you see them in person.
Yeah.
They sound a whole lot different than what they sound on the song.
Yep.
And you're like, why do they sound so much differently?
Yep, and it's because that vocal chain, it shapes.
Now, some people like a Christina Aguilera, that motherfucking, that chick can sing.
Yeah, she can.
Yeah,
but the only thing about it is the people that really can sing, it enhances it even more.
Yeah, man, but I just like, that girl can sing, man. Yeah, that girl can sing, bro.
She really can.
I like some singers, man. That's one thing that I got from my pops, man. He was into like singers and things like that. And good music. So it sticks with me. That's why I feel like a lot of artists, they're going to have a hard time for their music to kind of last the test of time. But just because they just make music for the time, like whatever drugs people are doing, that's the type of music they're making at this time. I mean, I think back in the day, people was doing drugs and stuff, but they made music that kind of will withstand the test of time because of the content of what it was. The content that we talk about now is basically like, hey, can I get you in a bed and fuck?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
No, we're lazy with it now. Like back then it was all about like whining, dining, and pressing. Like you like.
Well, they had ballads. They had real songs that they put together. Yeah. Now it's just like you can get a nice beat and get on it and hey, you got a hit.
Yeah. No, they followed the structure and the format a lot more. And most of those like songs are influenced by drug culture too, because a lot of people are.
It was all fucked up.
There was most of those dudes, like especially from like the Ray Charles, like Bobby Brown era.
It was all fucked up.
Heroin, coke, all that shit.
Yeah, they was all fucked up. Yeah. But I'm just saying, like the drugs now are more fast paced, like energy drugged. Yeah. You like kind of moving and fast. It's like they don't have anything. There's no real connection with the music. Yeah. They just kind of like making music because of the synthesis and the sounds and stuff that they using and stuff. And it just, cut that shit off. It's making my head hurt. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. So, I guess like back to the midlife crisis stuff, like as far as like, somebody that is struggling with that, how do you think do you think there's ways that you can help somebody see that they're kind of living like a delusional lifestyle, or do you think that they need to like hit rock bottom and see it for themselves? Because a lot of the time those dudes hit rock bottom, and when they hit rock bottom, it is not pretty.
Well, I mean, I would have to be around someone who's going through something like that. I haven't actually been around anyone like that. Mm-hmm. But I mean, as a friend, you should talk to them and try to see what's really going on with them, or why they doing making some of the choices that they're making and doing some of the things that they're doing. But as far as like just the midlife crisis, like I say, I'm not old enough for that. I probably have been through a crisis of me, because I know my attitude is up and down at times. So I wouldn't call it a crisis. I just be in different moods. Mm-hmm. But I never been around a person that just really just was doing stuff differently because they felt like their life ain't shit.
Yeah, or maybe their life is over and
their life is
they're
over
trying to get everything
something.
in that they never did that they want to do.
Yeah, that they felt like they never got to do. And then you really can't say that that's a midlife crisis. Sometimes people just trying to get some stuff done off their bucket list and they just trying to live.
Yeah.
You know,
that's true.
And they felt like they've been such a prune their whole life that they want to live a little bit, you know. So it's just hard to say, just depending on what they're giving up and what they're doing. Like if they're stopped being responsible for the things that they used to be responsible for, then that may be an indication that they may be going through a midlife crisis, and they start spending money like frivolously and stuff like that, you know. So you just gotta be careful about like assuming that someone's going through something because they may not be. And then they can resent you for coming up to them and talking to them about it.
They could.
Yeah.
And they probably will. But I guess you just got to make sure that it actually is a crisis, because the situation that is with my friend's dad, he actually is kind of like hurting himself and he's hurting his family. Like he has completely like disassociated himself. Like he's out here hanging out with the young kids again. Like he doesn't have a family, and like he's just like back to square one, like ready to start his whole life over. And I kind of think those are maybe some indications of a crisis, because I've had some awakening moments. I've had some moments where I've kind of come to light. Like I've seen that I'm like wasting my time, or I've seen that I could be doing more, or there's something else that I find more value in that I'm not doing, and it makes me feel like I'm not satisfied. So I go do that. But I don't necessarily think that's a crisis. I think that you can see that you're wasting your time and you want to progress, but I think that it becomes a crisis whenever you're like hurting yourself financially, you're hurting yourself physically. Whenever you get to a certain age and you're not handling your responsibilities anymore, you have all these responsibilities, and all of a sudden you just act like they're not there. You've been handling this shit your whole life. All of a sudden you act like it's just not there. I think those are some indicators of a crisis.
I mean, you could get like that really easy though.
Yeah.
Because you can just get tired of just taking care of business. You should be like, man, you know what? Fuck all this shit.
You can.
You know, and that's how people end up on the street a lot of time. Because they just like, fuck life. I don't want to deal with it no more. I just live on the street.
Yeah, they do.
That's how some of them end up on the street and stuff, and because they just stop caring.
Yeah.
Like they had something happen to them, like a daughter or somebody died in the family that was close to them, or, you know, they just feel like they just want to give up and things like that. So, and then they end up on the street and stuff like that. So,
yeah.
And that's the crazy thing about it, because we dismiss people that are homeless so much that sometimes you just never know why a person end up on the street. Now I know I have a habit of like dismissing some of them too, but I try not to. But I do have times where I'm like, can you get out of my face? Yeah. And like I just really don't want to be bothered. Yeah. You know, sometimes. I know yesterday I went to the store and I was just like, you know, it's really irritating. I know this is off the subject, but I really had to say this because it really bothered me. Like I was walking to get something, and I hate when I'm going to get something. It's like something says on my face that I'm friendly enough to talk to all the goddamn time. Like I really wish sometimes I had like a face that looked mad all the time, so you wouldn't just continue to stop me and talk. So I'm walking, and the lady tried to stop me and was like, "Hey, who is your cable?" I looked at her and like shit was all over her face. And I looked up and down, and I just kept walking. And so when I came back down that way where she was, she turned all the way around and didn't even look at me.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was funny.
Yeah, she's like, I ain't talking to that guy. I don't know what's going on with him today. He's having a bad day.
Yeah, man. It really wasn't even a bad day, but I had to go in there and I was getting something. I was on my way up here.
You didn't go in there for cable?
No.
Yeah.
And so that's what I think. I think what it is like sometimes people just bother you at the wrong time.
Yeah.
But as far as like the midlife crisis thing, like I say, I don't know anybody like that yet because I may be going through one myself. So I don't even know anybody that's going through it. I mean, me being older, I think I'm gonna run into some people that I may know that they may do it, but they may not. You just never know, just because you never know what a person is dealing with.
Yeah, no, it's true.
Yeah,
it's true. Well, if you do know somebody that is dealing with something that you might be considered a midlife crisis or something that looks like
problems,
then you can consult like mental health professional.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. I was finna start that. I'm finna get that.
All right, get there.
If you have a mental health problem, you need to call 9-800. I don't have a number.
No, we can insert a number.
Yeah, but I don't have a number, man. But I'm just saying. But yeah, I hope they do get help though.
Yeah, me too. Me too. And I hope like whatever he's looking for, I hope he finds it. And whatever he is dealing with, I hope he's able to get his life back on track. So,
but he gotta want the help.
He does.
Yeah, he gotta want the help.
Yeah, right now it's looking like he wants some other things.
He wants some young poo-poo.
Yeah,
he wants that young poo-poo. Yep. Poo-poo, bring that poo-poo to your boy. Bring it to your boy. That's what I'm tripping.
Yeah, I think we can go ahead and wrap this up. Yeah, but if you know somebody that's struggling, we'll insert a number at the end. You can call a mental health line or a mental health hotline and try to get them some help, and hopefully like whatever they're dealing with is something that's not serious enough to wreck their life completely. But you got anything else that you wanna add?
Man, I'm done, man. I'm over here making jokes and stuff now, thinking about funny shit now. So we could actually end this thing, because like I say, I'm on something else right now. I'm on something else right now.
All right, well, you want to take us out?
Hey, man, y'all know who it is. I'm Kel.
And I'm Jake.
And you have been kicking it with Kel and Jake.
Peace.